I notice at the moment I step through my parents' front door, something's off. The air feels charged, like the stillness before a thunderstorm. Mom's smile stretches too wide as she takes my coat, Dad's handshake a touch too firm. My sister Autumn practically vibrates with excitement, her eyes darting between our parents with that conspiratorial gleam I've known since childhood. Sierra, honey, so glad you made it. Mom guides me toward the dining room where Sunday dinner awaits, her hand pressing against my back with unusual insistence. The table looks perfect, of course. Mom's best china, the crystal glasses that only appear for special occasions, a centerpiece of fresh flowers. Whatever this is, they've planned it carefully. I take my usual seat across from Autumn, whose smile reminds me of when she was 8 and knew I was about to step on the whoopee cushion she'd hidden under my chair cushion. Dad carves the roast beef with practiced precision, while Mom distributes mashed potatoes, green beans, and those Parker House rolls I've loved since childhood. That's when I spot it. A manila folder tucked beside Dad's plate, its corner peeking out from under his napkin. My stomach tightens. "How's the clinic?" Mom asks, her voice artificially bright. "Still working those crazy hours?" "Business is good." I keep my answer simple, watching Dad's eyes flicker toward the folder. "We've increased our patient load by 20% this quarter." Autumn snorts softly. "All those patients, but such a tiny waiting room. Someone should really upgrade your office management." The pieces click together in my mind. A puzzle I wish I couldn't solve. Dad clears his throat, setting down his fork with a deliberate clink against fine china. "Sierra, we've been thinking about the future of your clinic." I freeze mid-bite, the food turning to sawdust in my mouth. Mom jumps in smoothly, as if they've rehearsed this. "Family businesses need family management, dear. Your father and I have been discussing how to keep healing hands in the family long term. It's not a family business," I say carefully. "I built it myself with our support," Dad counters, reaching for the folder. "And now Autumn has an excellent proposal that will benefit everyone." My sister straightens in her chair, practically preening. "I've worked up a business plan to become your practice manager. I'd handle all the boring paperwork stuff while you focus on patients." She leans forward, eyes gleaming. "I'm only asking for a 25% profit share, which is really reasonable considering all the growth I'll bring." My heartbeat pounds in my ears. This isn't a casual Sunday dinner. It's an ambush. Memories flood back unbidden. Double shifts at the hospital cafeteria during physical therapy school, sending money home to help Autumn through her freshman year of college, while I ate ramen in a one-room apartment with furniture rescued from curbsides. Midnight study sessions after 14-hour clinical rotations. The $187,000 in student loans that still drain my checking account each month. I already have a clinic manager, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. Mom waves her hand dismissively, but Autumn is the real people person. "Remember how she charmed Dr. Wilson at your clinic opening? He barely noticed you were there." I remember, just like I remember Dad dismissing my academic honors at graduation. Book smarts don't build practices. Sierra while photographing Autumn in my cap and gown. I remember Help
Autumn's
at the front
temporary...
desk last summer that resulted in unauthorized discounts to her sorority sisters. The weeks I spent apologizing to patients after her scheduling mix-ups left some waiting hours, and others turned away entirely. "May I see what you've prepared?" I ask, nodding toward the folder. Dad slides it across the table with a satisfied smile. "It's already been drawn up by my attorney. Just needs your signature. I can start tomorrow." Autumn claps her hands together. "I already have ideas for redecorating your office." I take a deliberate sip of water, then set the glass down precisely on its coaster. With slow, measured movements, I reach for my own briefcase, resting beside my chair. Before we discuss this further, I say, "There's something you should see." In the weighted silence that follows, I unlock my briefcase with a click that echoes like a gunshot. My father's confident smile falters as I withdraw a leather portfolio, the expensive one I splurged on after landing the contract with Denver Sports Medicine, a silent reminder of successes achieved without their help. "What's this?" Dad's voice holds the faint tremor of a man unaccustomed to surprises. Mom glances nervously between her husband and Autumn, her fingers fidgeting with her napkin. Autumn's smile, so triumphant moments ago, begins to wilt around the edges as I carefully arrange my documents on the table, aligning them with the precision I bring to patient treatment plans. 3 weeks ago, I signed a management services agreement with Colorado Healthcare Partners. I tap the top page where their corporate logo sprawls across the letterhead. They're managing all administrative aspects of healing hands going forward. Dad reaches for the papers, his brow furrowed. "You can't make decisions like this without consulting family." "Actually, I can." I slide another document toward him. I've highlighted section 4.3 for your convenience. No family members may be employed in management positions without unanimous board approval. The board consists of myself and two partners from CHP. Ask in my aided by Delatine and by brief him. Autumn's face flushes crimson. You did this on purpose. I made a business decision. I maintain eye contact with my sister, refusing to look away first, one based on previous experience. From my portfolio, I extract a folder containing patient complaint forms, all meticulously organized by date. These are from last summer when you worked at the clinic. I don't need to open it. The thickness speaks volumes. 15 scheduling errors resulting in double-booked treatment rooms. 23 unauthorized discounts, including 8 to your sorority sisters. 31 billing code errors that nearly triggered an insurance audit. Mom reaches across the table, her fingers stopping just short of touching mine. Sierra, honey, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. These weren't learning mistakes. I stand slowly, finding unexpected power in towering over my seated family. These were careless mistakes made by someone who thought rules didn't apply to her. I withdraw another document, this one created by my accountant. This itemizes the $42,000 in free treatments provided to this family over the past 3 years. Dad's rotator cuff rehabilitation, Mom's plantar fasciitis, Autumn's sports massages before her beach vacations. The stunned silence feels like vindication. Their expressions shift from entitled certainty to uncomfortable. Shock. While I covered your healthcare needs, I was eating ramen noodles to make my student loan payments. I worked double shifts at the hospital cafeteria to help fund Autumn's freshman year. When you said you couldn't afford both our educations simultaneously, I lock eyes with my father. I slept on treatment tables when I couldn't afford both rent and malpractice insurance. My phone buzzes with a text. I glance down to see my clinic manager's message. Did you tell them yet? The timing couldn't be better, a reminder that I'm not alone anymore. My staff witnessed Autumn's summer of chaos, staying late to fix her mistakes while she posted Instagram photos from rooftop happy hours. They know the truth behind the Bennett family dynamics.
My mentor warned me years ago that family and business mix like oil and water, I say, remembering Dr. Winter's concerned expression when she caught me crying in the supply closet after Dad missed my clinic's grand opening. I should have listened sooner. I gather my documents with deliberate precision, sliding them back into my portfolio in the exact order they'll be needed if this conversation escalates further. The methodical movement calms me, just like when I organize treatment supplies before a difficult patient session. We can negotiate. Dad's voice has lost its authoritative edge, replaced by the tone he uses when a business deal starts slipping away. 20% instead of 25, a trial period. I close my portfolio with a snap. My clinic isn't your piggy bank, it's my career. Mom's hand flies to her throat, a dramatic gesture she's perfected over years of family conflicts. I never thought you'd put business before family, she whispers. The statement hangs between us, revealing everything wrong with their perspective. In their minds, my success exists to benefit them. My clinic represents not my achievement, but their opportunity. I'm not putting business before family. I reply, my voice steadier than I feel inside. I'm putting boundaries before exploitation.
Pushes back from the table, her chair scraping against the hardwood floor. You've always been so dramatic, Sierra, acting like you did everything yourself when we've always supported you. Supported me? I raise an eyebrow. When exactly? Was it during my graduation when Dad was taking photos of you in my cap and gown? Or when Mom told Dr. Wilson I was just the medical person at my own clinic opening? The memories surface like air bubbles in water. Quick, sharp, impossible to stop once they start rising. Remember my 12th birthday when I got a card while Autumn received a new bicycle? Or my high school valedictorian ceremony where no family members attended because Autumn had a cold? I zip my briefcase closed. Your support has always been conspicuously absent when it mattered. Dad stands now too, his height no longer intimidating as it was throughout my childhood. You've changed, Sierra. Success has made you cold. No, I meet his gaze without flinching. Success has made me visible, and
you don't know what to do with a daughter you can't ignore. I lift my briefcase from the chair, surprised by how light it feels compared to the weight I've carried for years. For the first time since entering their house, I take a deep breath that doesn't hurt my chest. I'll see myself out. I turn toward the door, then pause. Oh, and starting next month, family treatments will be billed at standard rates. Our charity program is reserved for patients who can't afford care, not those who simply prefer not to pay. Behind me, I hear my mother's shocked intake of breath, my father's muttered curse, and Autumn's theatrical sob. But for once, their reactions don't pull me back into the familiar dance of appeasement. I step out into the evening air, where my phone buzzes with another message from my clinic manager. We're all here for you. And for the first time in my life, I truly believe it. That night at my apartment, memories flashbacked. My 12th birthday falls on a Tuesday in April, unremarkable, except for the math test I aced and the single card propped against my cereal bowl that morning. 2 weeks later, Autumn turns 10 and receives a gleaming teal bicycle with streamers on the handlebars and a wicker basket for collecting neighborhood treasures. I watch from our front porch as she circles the driveway, our parents clapping with each wobbly lap. Sierra, take a picture of your sister. Dad calls, tossing me his camera. This is a milestone. I angle the viewfinder to capture Autumn's beaming face, her hair catching sunlight as Dad steadies the bike seat. Mom waves a handkerchief like she's sending off royalty. Remember when I got my first bike? I ask later, helping Mom with dishes while birthday cake crumbs still dot the kitchen table. She pauses, sponge suspended. You were a practical child, Sierra. You always wanted books instead. But I hadn't. I'd circled bikes and catalogs for 3 years running. High school graduation brings academic honors, valedictorian, science medal, full academic scholarship to Colorado State. The auditorium buzzes with proud parents clutching bouquets and cameras. Mine arrived 7 minutes after my speech, slipping into back row seats as I returned to mine. Traffic was terrible. Mom whispers when they find me afterward, empty-handed. But we're here for Autumn's dance recital tonight. You're coming, right? The pattern repeats through college. My dean's list certificates arrive by mail at our family home while I work double shifts at the hospital cafeteria. The envelopes remain sealed on the kitchen counter for weeks. When physical therapy school graduation finally arrives, I stand alone after the ceremony until Autumn waves from across the quad. There you are. She grabs my mortarboard. Dad wants pictures of me in this. You don't mind, right? For 20 minutes, I watch my parents photograph my sister wearing my hard-earned cap, their backs to my honors cords, and the diploma case clutched in my hands. Books, mods, don't build it.
Had purchased Autumn a new car the previous month because she needs reliable transportation for interviews. The treatment table becomes my bed that night. I curl onto the paper-covered vinyl, wrapping myself in a patient blanket after 16 hours of back-to-back appointments followed by insurance paperwork. The cleaning crew finds me there at 5 a.m., still clutching spreadsheets. 6 months later, when Healing Hands Physical Therapy finally opens in its own space, not just a rented room in someone else's clinic, my parents stop by for 15 minutes between Autumn's bridal shower and their dinner reservation. It's nice, Mom says, glancing at her watch like a real doctor's office. Dad peers at my framed credentials. Just remember, it's always about the people, not the degrees. They leave before the small reception begins, missing the champagne toast from my 3-person staff and the ribbon-cutting photo for the local business journal. The summer Autumn decides to help out at the front desk becomes a professional nightmare. Her sorority sisters receive unauthorized discounts while regular patients find their appointments rescheduled or cancelled entirely. Insurance forms pile up unprocessed until late-night hours when I discover them stuffed into desk drawers. They were so boring, Autumn explains when confronted. Besides, they're just old people with Medicare. They don't have anywhere important to be. After she leaves, I spend weeks making personal calls to every affected patient, rebuilding trust one apology at a time. The turning point comes unexpectedly during a meeting with Blue Shield's regional provider representative. The stern-faced woman across my desk has rejected our previous 3 claims submissions. Ms. Bennett, your documentation simply doesn't meet our standards for... I slide a folder across the desk, interrupting her practiced rejection. These are revised protocols I developed specifically addressing your guidelines. I've cross-referenced each treatment code with your latest manual. Her eyebrows rise as she flips through meticulously annotated pages. You did this yourself? Every night for 3 weeks. Her assessment is blunt. Most providers just argue or give up. 3 days later, the insurance company approves our entire claims backlog. Within months, physician referrals increase as word spreads about our exceptional documentation and outcomes. The first profitable month arrives after 2 grueling years. I stare at the accounting software late one night, verifying the numbers 3 times before allowing myself to believe them. No one is there to celebrate with me, but for once, the silence feels like power rather than abandonment. I realize something profound as I lock up that night. My invisibility has become my superpower. While my family focused on Autumn's charm and social connections, I built something substantial in the shadows. The skills I developed through years of self-reliance, persistence, precision, strategic thinking now serve as the foundation for my growing business. Ellie Morgan, my clinic manager, proves this theory when she declines a hospital position, offering significantly more money to stay with healing hands. They don't value people like you do, she tells me, tearing up the offer letter. I've worked in healthcare for 30 years, Sierra. What you're building here is special. When autumn's scheduling disasters create chaos, my staff stays late without complaint, ordering pizza and tackling the backlog together. We've got this. Carlos, my lead therapist, assures me as midnight approaches. Your sister's interesting, but we're a team. Every Friday morning, our staff meeting begins with each person sharing both challenges and victories from the week. Every voice matters. The cleaning staff included a stark contrast to family gatherings where my input was routinely dismissed or interrupted. The call from Denver Rehabilitation Center's medical director comes on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. We've been watching your outcomes data. To me, 2,000 people, she says without preamble. Our orthopedic department wants to discuss a specialized treatment partnership. That evening, we gather in the clinic after hours, not for emergency rescheduling, but for celebration. 9 people now instead of the original 3, toasting with plastic cups and grocery store cake. To Sierra, Ellie calls out who saw possibilities while everyone else saw limitations. In the quiet after everyone leaves, I gently lift my first business license from its frame, tracing the embossed seal with my fingertips. Tomorrow, I'll rehang it in the expanded reception area. A reminder that being overlooked sometimes allows you to build foundations no one expects to stand. 6 weeks after the confrontation, at work, my corner office offers a panoramic view of Denver's skyline, though I've positioned my desk to face the treatment floor instead. Through the glass wall, I watch Meredith guide Mrs. Hoffman through her post-stroke exercises. Meredith's patience mirrors what I strive for with every patient, something my family never understood about healing. The contrast between my modest office and our state-of-the-art treatment areas isn't accidental. While patients deserve cutting-edge equipment, I've learned to function perfectly well with a second-hand desk and simple chair. Every dollar saved is reinvested where it counts. I straightened the original Healing Hands therapy sign mounted on my wall, salvaged when we expanded last month, from 3 treatment rooms to 15. From me alone to a team of 15 therapists who share my vision of patient first care, my phone vibrates for the 3rd time today. Mom again. I silence it without looking at the message. It will be like yesterday's and the day before. Just checking in, honey, with a thinly veiled question about clinic operations or subtle mention of autumn's latest unemployment crisis. The calls increased after I refused their dinner invitations for 6 consecutive weeks. Mom cycles between guilt